Happy Tuesday, Flosstube. Hello, crafty friends. How's everybody doing today? My name's Caroline. Welcome back for another Flosstube video. This is a video about cross stitch, all about cross stitch today. I don't have any knitting to share with you today. It's all about cross stitch, and also the goings on in my small business, Evertote. So that's what's on the agenda for today. It has been almost 3 weeks since the last time I shared with you. So I have made a list so that I can make sure that I remember everything that I wanted to tell you about. So Tuesday, February 8th already. I don't know where January went. It sort of just flew by in the blink of an eye. I have some stitching progress to share with you, some things that I've been working on. I have some fully finished objects, some shop models to share with you today. Only one of them I stitched myself, but I think that I can't wait to share them with you. There's some really beautiful stitching on my table here today. And I also I have a little extra treat for you today. I recorded a few-minute video with Kerri, the dyer behind Leo&Roxy Floss Co, and I'm going to pop that in a little later on in the video today. Okay, so first of all, the first thing that I wanted to talk about is the chart that was designed by Hannah. Hannah, who works here with me at Evertote. Hannah Pinhorn designed a matryoshka chart back in January. It's called All of Our Ages, and the PDF is available on the website www.evertote.ca. And Hannah's chart, I'll pop in a photo of what the chart looks like. The proceeds of this chart are being donated to ANOVA, which is the local women's shelter that's actually, it's quite close to our workshop here. So it's a wonderful organization, and I'm very pleased to tell you that we have almost raised $200 to donate to ANOVA. So if you'd like to help us out, PDFs are $8, and the floss that Hannah charted it for, it was the Leo&Roxy floss, but she does have some DMC conversions right in her chart if you would rather use some floss from your stash. So I have decided to only stitch the middle matryoshka, and I had started this the last time last time I recorded, I'd started it, and I've only done a little bit more, but I've started adding in the green in the center of the dress at the bottom, and I'm going to be fully finishing mine into a project bag. So I've tried to improve. I've got my ring light set up today, so I'm hoping that improves the quality of the lighting in the video today. So this is Lucille, is the red. Luna's having a really good snore behind me, so if you hear that, she's always there, so and always sleeping. So anyways, if you're new here, Luna is my dog, and she's always here with me. And that is Darkest Sage there that I've just started putting in. Let's see, get that to focus there. There we go. So this will be the next project that I focus on for a finish, because you'd be very pleased with me when I show you my stitching. I don't have a lot of extra free time lately, so I've been focusing on just a very small number of projects and actually not sort of flitting from project to project, and I'm seeing some progress, which has been really nice. So one of the whips that I'm going to share with you today is almost finished, and when that is finished, this is going to be the next one that I focus on, because it's very small and there's no reason why I couldn't finish it and have it turned into a really cute bag. So that's the plan. So that is Hannah's Her cross-stitch design business she has called Hands, I've got it right, it's Hands Lil X Stitch Treats. And she also has some free PDFs that you can find on our website as well. I think if you scroll to the bottom, there's a section for free PDFs. I'm not quite exactly sure where it is, but it's somewhere there. Shouldn't be too hard to find. And so yeah, I would like to try to get to $300 in the pot of money for Anova, and then at $300 I'm going to make the donation. And I'll share a screenshot of that when I do that, so that you know that your money has gone where I've said it's going. So all of our ages. So I know, not much, right? But still, wait, I promise this is going to be next to see some substantial progress. Okay, so the next thing that I'll share with you is this piece that I've been working on. The rest of the episode today really is mostly going to be a Jacob of Modern Folk Embroidery shout out. One huge shout out to Jacob of Modern Folk Embroidery, because everything else pretty much that I'm talking about today is either going to be Modern Folk Embroidery charts or Leo&Roxy Floss. So we'll call it the Jacob show. I live in Canada. I'm from London, Ontario, Canada. And if you've been following what's been going on in Canada lately, I've needed to stitch my Ruskin's penguins a fair bit, because the news, I just can't read the news anymore. So I've been trying to stitch my penguins. And then the penguins, this is Ruskin's Penguins by Jacob of Modern Folk Embroidery. One can't be angry when one looks at a penguin. It's a fantastic chart. It's a fantastic chart. And I'm almost done. So you might hear a little bit of noise here and there. That's not Luna. The business that is directly downstairs from me, sometimes I can hear a little bit of noise from them coming up from the vents. So if you hear strange stomping around or whatever, that's it's not me kicking my feet around. It's just the people downstairs. So are you ready? Ta-da! I'm so close, you guys. I am so close. I have been monogamously stitching on this for at least the last week and a half, and I'm so close to being done. I love it. I have not enjoyed a border this much and I like stitching border. Like, I love stitching borders, but this one in particular has been so fun to stitch. Look at it. I've completely finished all the little hearts. They are adorable. And I only have this corner and that little bit of fill in to do, and then the border is completely done. And then the words, top line of words, a few more little extra snowflakes. There are a couple of snowflakes in the top, and that's it. Then it's done. And isn't it fantastic? This has been a really, really enjoyable stitch. I've loved it. So let me tell you the details. This is Jacob's charts. This one for sure. And in fact, all of the ones that I'm sharing with you today, he uses a digital reproduction of his artwork on the cover. So this is not actually a real fabric color. And what I like about that is that it really leaves it open to your interpretation. It's actually kind of one of my favorite things about Jacob's charts, that he leaves some room open for you to have some fun with the design. And so as you can see, the fabric that I chose looks nothing like the cover model photo. It's completely different. So this is a fabric by XjuDesigns, Jucas. She is from Hungary. Her shop is on Etsy, and I will leave a link in the in the description box below. And this is a 28 count linen, and it's in the old linen colorway. I've been stitching it in hand, loving it. And I'm using 2 strands of floss, 2 strands of thread over 2 with the called for Leo&Roxy Floss, which is chalkboard and weathered white. I just love it. Like, look at that border. I know I keep saying it, but how fun was that border? It was just absolutely the best. I've loved every stitch. And it's almost done. I'm almost done. So that's really what I've been working on the most in my free time. The other project that I've been working on is the newest release that was a collaboration between Jacob, myself, and Kerri of Leo&Roxy Floss Co. And it's called Isabella's Heart. So that's this chart right here. Again, a digital reproduction of the pattern. And the linen, we're selling this as a kit in the shop. And at the moment, this chart as a physical copy is exclusive to my shop. You can, oh, and I should have mentioned that with Ruskin's Penguins, we have physical charts in the shop, but if you want to stitch, if you like PDFs, you can get those directly from Jacob's website, which is www.modernfolkembroidery.com. And so Isabella's Heart, we have the chart, physical chart, but you can get the PDF from Jacob's website as well. I love this chart. And here's where I'm at. So this linen was actually, this is the Leo&Roxy linen dyed by Kerri, and this was the sample that she dyed. So I'm stitching my sample on her sample of linen. So and it's called Blank Slate. That's the name of this linen. And so the linen that is shipping out in the kits is, some of it is a little lighter than this, and some of it is kind of the same. The thing with hand-dyed fabrics with dye lots, and I think I mentioned this in my last video, you can use the exact same recipe and it will just turn out slightly differently every time. It's exactly like floss dye lots. Linen is exactly the same. And so the linen that we're shipping out, this is approximately the color that it will be. And the floss color is Phthalo Red, is the darkest red. It's beautiful. Flamingo is that pink. There, that's better. Flamingo. And then Antique Wedding Dress is the ecru. Antique Wedding Dress, Flamingo, and Phthalo Red. And I got a really good start on the heart. And what I love about this chart is this is a year-round stitch. It's not overly Valentine-y. I like to stitch Christmas year-round. I like to stitch whatever I like to stitch year-round, and it won't bother me a moment stitching this in October. I think it's beautiful. So, Isabella's Heart, which leads me to, I have something very fun for you. I have a giveaway. I have a customer named Alicia who has very generously donated a piece of 32 count linen, chart, and floss for Isabella's Heart that I am extremely pleased to be able to offer up today for a giveaway for you. This is going to be a YouTube giveaway, so you're going to leave me a comment below on this video, and for the love of everything, do not put the word giveaway in your comment. If I've learned anything over on Instagram, it is never ever use the word giveaway in anything, because it encourages, well, it just encourages lots of not so nice things to happen and people to take advantage. So use the word heart in your comment. And what I'll do the next time I do a video, I will draw a name for the winner. So if you would like to win And what I've sort of standardized the cut size for the linen in the kits as of this latest kit that we've put out, because I've been finding that it's just a lot faster to have a specific cut size. So I've been cutting wide 1/8 for Isabella's heart. So every yard of linen that I have, I'm cutting in half down the middle, and then I'm cutting each side into 4, so that each kit is receiving a wide 1/8 worth of blank slate linen in their kit. Same with if you just got the linen chart and floss, it's a wide 1/8. You're going to have some extra leftover linen. I'd already cut this piece down, so this is shorter than a wide 1/8. It's not quite a wide 1/8. The width there, that's the size of the chart. It's not huge. It's approximately the same size as Ruskin's penguins. So you will have a little bit of linen left over. But this way it allows for lots of margins, and it actually really speeds up our process here, that I can just cut everything to size. So clearly, if you're stitching on a 40 count piece of linen, you're going to have lots of leftover fabric versus if you're stitching on a 28 count of linen. I hope that makes sense. Sometimes these are things that I think of to tell you while I'm talking about something else, so I tend to do that a lot. Anyway, giveaway. Use the word heart in your comment for a chance to win a wide 1/8 of 32 count blank slate, the booklet chart, and enough floss to stitch the whole design for Isabella's heart in Fallow Red, Flamingo, and Antique Wedding Dress. Very generously gifted to you from Alicia. And thanks again, Alicia. This is really fun. And I just know somebody's going to be super happy to win that. Okay, so that's what I've been working on. Ruskin's penguins and Isabella's heart. Those are the two main things that I've been stitching. And like I said, as soon as Ruskin's, did I say Ruskin's heart? Ruskin's penguins, as soon as that is done, this is next up. My matryoshka is going to get stitched. Okay, so now I've got some FFOs to share with you. You guys. Oh, I didn't share, let me go back to my matryoshka just for a minute. These are the colors of Hannah's chart. We've got chocolate ganache. Chocolate ganache is the dark brown. Are these gonna show up? Let's get these to focus. There we go. Okay, chocolate ganache, darkest sage, Lucille, and Goldilocks. There we go, finally. Good grief. There we go. So, 4 colors from your stash in a you want the really rich shades. So really, really deep colors. And I think that you'll be really happy with your matryoshka. Okay, so I remembered to tell you about Alicia's giveaway. Showed you my whips. Gonna share my framed FOs. Now I'm just looking at my list here. The other thing I need to do, lots of times people only watch the first half of a video because, well, you run out of time, or frankly I talk too much and you push the pause button. I am going to give just a really quick update on Stitch North, but why don't we do that now, because really it's very quick. If you are interested in Stitch North, which is the cross stitch retreat happening in Brampton, Ontario on April the 1st, as far as I know, we are a go. We are a go. Reopening plans in Ontario are still in alignment with that plan. We do still have mask mandates in place, so we will likely be wearing masks. Even if a mask mandate isn't in place, if you're more comfortable wearing a mask, you'll be encouraged to do so. I will likely be wearing a mask. Regardless, these are just the times we live in. So it is in Brampton, Ontario, Canada, April 1st to April 3rd. We still have a few spots available. There is a Facebook group just called Stitch North that you can join. And that's the place where Hannah has been able to post a lot of really important informational updates, things to watch for if you're crossing the border. Again, these are all things that, you know, we've all been living this for the last 2 years, right? Things change and things can change fast. And so if you are traveling, keep an eye on the requirements based on where you are, where you're coming from, and also clearly traveling into Canada. I know we have a large number of American friends coming to join us on April 1st. So keep an eye on the requirements, keep an eye on all of those kinds of things. Hannah has been trying to also keep up to date on all of these issues, and she will be posting in the group all of our updates. There's been a lot of questions lately about the smalls exchange for the retreat. There is a smalls exchange. It's going to be an anonymous one, so gifts, we're not going to be choosing partners. It's not going to be anything like that. It's very casual. It's very simple and straightforward. So I know that many of you did sign up for being interested in a smalls exchange, and Hannah will be sending out an email later this week. But basically, to that effect, it's very simple. Our basic theme is friendship and travel, and those are really wide open to your own interpretation, you know, of whatever you want to stitch. So think of something small that's fully finished, like a key fob or a scissor fob or an ornament or a flat fold, pin cushion, needle book, anything that's small that you would love to receive as a small, fully finished object as a gift. Think about that. Make sure it's small, because we only have about 2 months before the retreat. So you want to choose something that you're going to have lots of time to finish before, you know, we need to get there. Don't be like me. I did a smalls. I have only ever done one smalls exchange ever. I did not choose something small, and I had to spend an entire month stitching it. Now, granted, I loved it when it was done and I was really proud of it. I should have picked something smaller. So don't be like me. Pick something that's truly small. And also, we have capped a dollar figure on extras at $15 Canadian. So if you want to put in a couple of treats, you know, like tea or a little candy or something that's, you know, from your area, if you're traveling from somewhere else that's, you know, typical of where you live, $15 Canadian, which is approximately $10 to $12 US. So something like that. Hopefully that answers some of the basic questions you have about the smalls exchange. Keep it simple. These are going to be anonymous, so they're going to be wrapped up in a bag. You will wrap your gift up in a bag. We're going to keep them on a table at the retreat, and then whoever has participated in the smalls exchange will choose a gift from the table. There won't be any, you know, pondering over which one you take, because they will all be hidden in bags, and we get what we get. And I think that we're just grateful that to share a little token of friendship with each other. So hopefully that answered any. Again, if you have any other questions, join the Facebook group Stitch North, post them in there. Hannah's really pretty much on top of that group and answering any questions in there. And I think that's it. Okay, so there you go. I took care of Stitch North. Now I get to show you the FFOs. Are you ready? Okay, so first up, now many of these you probably have seen. Yeah, you've seen these before. One of them you haven't seen before, but I'm gonna save that one. Okay, so first off, you've seen this model before. This is All Are Equal in Death, and this is, of course, a Jacob of Modern Folk Embroidery piece. This is from his Dark Crosses collection. And again, you can find the PDF on his website. We still have physical charts. The fabric, this fabric was, actually, I don't know which fabric this was. Ellen, my friend Ellen of Maximum Cross Stitch Power Hour, which, by the way, here's a little extra plug for Ellen. Ellen is a Canadian icon. Ellen is a member of the band, the Crash Test Dummies. The Crash Test Dummies is just about to go on tour in the US. If you live in the US and you are a fan of either the Crash Test Dummies or you're a big fan of Ellen, Maximum Cross Stitch Power Hour, you're going to want to check out their tour schedule and see if maybe you're lucky enough to live in a city that's, you know, possibly got them coming close to you, because you know, things are starting to open back up again, and we're starting to be able to do these kinds of special things again. And I know that Ellen and the boys are looking forward to their tour, and you never know, you might get to shout at her. I know that they can't really, with COVID protocols and stuff, I'm not quite sure what their rules are with meeting fans afterwards and whatnot, but you'd get to see her perform on stage, and I've gotten to see them perform, and it was a ton of fun. So Crash Test Dummies touring the USA, check out their tour schedule, because you know, how often do we have a cross stitch superstar who's also a rock star? So well worth it. Now Ellen has stitched a number of these models that you're going to see here today. Actually, just two. The other one I'm not sharing. Well, I'll show you a sneak peek. Anyways, neither here nor there. All are equal in depth. Ellen stitched this. I don't know what fabric she used. I have a funny feeling it was another XjuDesigns fabric, but I don't know the colorway. The floss was Leo&Roxy Antique Wedding Dress. And can I just get a, how fantastic is that frame? Look at it. Does it, I mean, could it get any better? It is absolutely perfect for this piece. So a massive shout out to my friend Neil, Kathy and Neil. Neil framed everything that you're about to see today. He used to frame for their shop, Thread and I, in London, Ontario, and then they retired. And now, so I probably shouldn't spread this around, because he doesn't do it for, you know, he doesn't take on customers. He did this for me because he's my friend, and he had some supplies, and he's an amazing friend. And so he framed these for me. But I've always trusted Neil's opinion and taste with framing. And so he took these pieces and he made all of the decisions on the framing. He chose everything for all of them. They are all perfect. I mean, look at that crackle work on that frame. It suits it perfectly. Perfectly. Neil does the traditional lacing technique for the linen, so everything is perfectly laced, everything is straight. I mean, he's a treasure, my friend. And so is his wife. I'm partial to them both. Kathy and Neil, they've been very good friends. I met them for the first time when I was pregnant with Sarah. I've probably told you this story before, but I'm going to tell you again because it's one of my favorite stories. I walked into their shop for the very first time. They were at a different location than where they ended up. And I was pregnant with Sarah, and she is turning 21 this year. So that tells you how long I've known them for. And it was my very first time walking into a needlework shop. And I can just remember being completely overwhelmed with the treasures that were surrounding me, because it was like, I'd never seen so many amazing things specifically geared towards this craft that I was becoming obsessed with, all in one place. It was like magic. Magic. And Kathy was there. It was the first time I met her. And so yeah, it's turned into one of my most treasured friendships over the years. So Neil, he has a gift, and he did the framework for me. So all are equal in depth. I usually get a question on why equal is misspelled. It is not. This is just an old-fashioned way to do it. Jacob actually has a video, a very specific video, and I think it's even in the title, about lettering. If I think about it, I'll try to link to it in the drop-down box below, because you should go and watch it, because He's much smarter than I am, much more knowledgeable than I am about explaining these things and why. But it's not a spelling mistake. It is supposed to look like that. It's just a bit old-fashioned. And I love it. It's really fun. It's really fun. I'm not really a Halloween stitcher, but this one's kind of like a fun little bit spooky to have hanging around right at that time of year. I love it. Okay, now next up is one that you've never seen. You've seen the chart, but you've never seen the finished model. I did share it on Instagram, but I've never shown you. And I did not do the stitching either. Neil's wife, Kathy, did the stitching for this one. Look at that. Look at that. I see Kathy and Neil every week pretty much because they wind floss. They come and collect some Leo and Roxy hanks every week. They take them home and they card them up. And, you know, they are stitchers through and through. And so Kathy a few months back was like, do you have anything that, you know, you'd like to see stitched? And I said, well, why, yes, I do. And I handed her the Love Gains chart by Jacob of Modern Folk Embroidery and some chalkboard floss, and she stitched it. And it is stunning. It is absolutely stunning. And look at the detail. Look at that frame. Can you see the little notches in the frame? Look at those motifs. Oh, it's so pretty. It is so, so pretty. Now, the lettering. Am I getting that lettering? Yeah, there it is. Okay. So, Kathy stitched this on a piece of 32 count mystery linen. And the words are 1/1. So 1 strand of floss over 1. And the rest of the motifs are 2 strands of floss over 2. And isn't it? It's so beautiful. Look at, okay, so I showed you the top motifs close up now. Look at the bottom ones. Isn't it pretty? Oh, it's so pretty. So, force may subdue, but love gains, and he that forgives first wins the laurel. I love it. So I had thought to stitch this in red and to have a red version, a red sampler. We are releasing a new red on Valentine's Day next week. As part of this red was developed for the winter Quakers conversion that we've been working on. But the red is so perfect. It's like a real, well, I think it's a real sampler red, and Ellen agrees with me. So it's called Inappropriate. That's the name of the floss. And we're going to release it on Valentine's Day. And I thought I would do a red sampler with it, but I don't know. I really like Kathy's version with the chalkboard as is, and Jacob's got a few other charts that I want to stitch. So, but isn't it? It's just perfect. This, I love it. So that is Love Gains. Love Gains. Beautiful. Okay. I've got a new one that you haven't even seen. I've never shown you the chart either. I brought this chart in maybe 5 or 6 months ago, and I sort of hung on to it. And then we decided to, well, Neil was here and he was looking for something to stitch. And I said, well, I've got this really great chart, because he had, they had just wound a hank of the new dial out of Dark Sage. And it had some really, it was just extra, you know, there's something about floss, right? When you just get that one color that you just fall in love with. And he said, I really love that Dark Sage. I really want to stitch something with it. And I said, well, have I got a chart for you? And so I handed him the, the name of the chart is escaping me at the moment. I'm gonna pop it up on the screen because all I can see is Merry Christmas. And I know it's not called Merry Christmas, it's called Christmas Village or something like that. Look at this. Look at that. I mean, holy Hannah banana. Look at that. It's stunning. Now, what is really cool about this chart is that Jacob charted this for a dark fabric. He charted it for a dark fabric with a light colored floss. And so Neil stitched it on a light colored fabric with a dark colored floss. So, like I said, Jacob leaves these things open to so much creativity, and it's just phenomenal what you can do. And Neil added in a little extra special touch, and I'll bring it just a little closer so you can see. See the little pop of red there and there and there. Look at that. He had some extra leftover Lucille, which is a great Christmas red. Lucille, I showed you Lucille already. This is the one I'm using in the matryoshka. He had some left over and he said, I'd really want to put a couple little pops of red in there. I said, it's your stitching, do what you want. And he did, and it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. Look at how beautiful that is. So let me show you close up. Look at that. Look at the little town, that tree, those reindeer, the snowflakes, the lettering, like the font, everything about this chart is perfect. It's gorgeous. I love this. And again, perfectly framed by Neil. So he stitched it and then he framed it. I love it. So yeah, so anyways, these are all shop models now of Jacob's charts that we have in the shop. And I couldn't be happier with the way these look on my wall. They look amazing. They look amazing. Okay, so that is the last framed piece. Now I am gonna put you on pause and I'm gonna go and make a quick cup of coffee because, well, it's that time. We'll be right back. That's better. Cheers. Whew. Okay. Last fully finished object to show you. And this one I am so proud of because I stitched this one myself. And I think it doesn't get any better than this object. I have shown the box before, but now it's done. Ta-da! Look at that! My red berries. Fully finished into the most beautiful box. Look at that. Ta-da! And this box was handmade by Neil a few years back, and he made it with frame molding, and he's got little pads on the bottom. It is perfectly made, and he stretched and laced my stitching. He put a layer of batting under the stitching to give it that little bit of a padded look. You can see, and look at it. It's perfect. I am just absolutely thrilled with this. Look at it. Stunning. And I stitched it. I finished it all by myself. Oh, I know, but you know, when you have only like 5 minutes in a day to put a few stitches on, this is a big deal. I finished it. I love it. I love it so much. Ta-da! Look at that. And now I have a treasure box. I have a Christmas treasure box. Oh, I just love it. So once again, an enormous thank you to Kathy and Neil and Ellen. I'm a lucky girl with pretty fantastic friends, let me tell you. Okay, so A few shop updates to tell you about. I've brought in a couple of new patterns. So first of all, the Christmas Village one that I shared Neil's finish that he stitched with Dark Sage. I have copies of that in the shop now. And this is a newer one from Jacob called The Wings of the Dove. I really want to stitch this big time. Wings of the Dove. Look at that chart. Look at it. It's beautiful. And he has suggested Antique Wedding Dress as Leo&Roxy Floss if you'd like to stitch it on a dark background with lighter color floss. I'm thinking that this one might be really stunning as like a navy. I've got some planetarium that's like a super rich dark blue with a bit of a purple undertone. Wouldn't that be beautiful? Or maybe a red, I don't know, but I want to stitch it big time. I love it. So that's called The Wings of the Dove. And the Christmas chart, that's new as well. We released a new super variegated floss last week called Tequila Sunrise. Look at this floss. Look at that. It is so pretty. So pretty. Really beautifully variegated with different shades of the, like a peach Bellini kind of, you know, peaches and corals and yellows, and oh, it's just gorgeous. And the variegation, of course, runs. Get that to focus there. Look at that. Beautiful. So I am trying to think of, I want to stitch a monochrome small with this. And so I'm just trying to find the perfect fabric. It needs to be a darker fabric. So I've got a few things up my sleeve. So that's called Tequila Sunrise. And the biggest thing that we've released that's brand new that I've talked about over on Instagram. I have an Instagram account for the shop. It's called @Evertotes. It's called. My page is @Evertotes, and there is an S on the end, even though the shop name doesn't have an S. Because believe it or not, when I took the account, Evertote without an S was already taken. So that's why there's an S on the end of it. And so I did share this over there, and we've also sent out a newsletter through the shop. You can sign up for our newsletter on the website, www.evertote.ca. If you scroll to the bottom, there's a place right there to sign up for the newsletter. And so we launched a floss club, the Leo&Roxy Floss Club at Evertote. There is a neutrals club, there is a brights club, or there's a gimme both club. And we've got that set up on the website. There is a special separate page dedicated to the floss clubs right on the website. Now, I mentioned at the beginning of this video that I did a couple of minutes of chatting with Kerri, the dyer behind Leo&Roxy Floss Co. So I'm gonna pop that in right here. There we go. There we are. Hello.
Hi.
This is Kerri.
Hi, everyone.
Kerri is the dyer behind Leo&Roxy Floss Co. And I thought it was finally time that that I introduced you to her. So.
Touch.
Thanks. She stops by. Well, you stop by a lot more frequently now.
Mm-hmm. If not every week,
yeah,
twice a week.
Twice a week sometimes. I'm
Yeah.
pretty lucky. So she had a big floss delivery today, and so I've convinced her to come on and say hello.
Hi. Awkward as usual.
Yeah, well, me too. So we're a pair. Big news for us is that we have officially launched the Leo&Roxy Floss Co. Floss Club.
Yay!
Hooray! Floss Club at Evertote. And Kerri actually has just delivered month 1 of the clubs.
And I hate to do it, but think you guys will love it.
Yeah. Yes, you will love them. So if you've already signed up, if you're ready to go for month 1 subscriptions, they're going to be shipping out the 1st of March. We're going to get hard at work next week carding and packaging and getting them ready to go out the door. So there's 2 clubs. There's the neutrals and the brights, and then you can have either neutrals or brights, or you can select both. And I think we've got it set up for a 3-month, 6-month, or a 12-month subscription. And I thought maybe Kerri could tell you a little bit about her thought process and all the good stuff.
So basically with the Floss Club, I tried to think of it, we labeled it neutrals and brights. I don't know if that's misleading. I don't think it is.
I don't think it is.
So I don't want everybody to think that neutrals, they're going to get a palette of brown every month.
Right.
So that wasn't my intent. So the neutrals to me are geared more for the traditional stitcher, reproduction samplers. They're muted, quieter colors, I would think.
Yeah, but not browns and grays.
But not browns and grays. That's not to say that there won't be one snuck in every now and again, but I think they're very usable colors. And my goal was to create a curated palette. So if you only had these 5 flosses, they would be perfect in a small project.
Together. They all work together.
Talking with my hand.
That's okay.
On the brights end of it, they're not screaming brights. They're very usable.
They're not neons.
They're not neons.
No, I have seen them. They're not neons.
No.
They are brighter. They're definitely brighter than the neutrals.
They're a cleaner.
Palette. Yeah.
They're a cleaner, not muted palette.
So quite modern. So when I think of designers like Emma Congdon and Tiny Modernist, those sort of really bright palettes.
Yeah.
I think that collection would work really well.
Yeah, they would lend themselves very well to modern charts. However, that being said, I don't see why you wouldn't be able to use them as a pop. Those pops, I think about Elizabeth
Isles.
Yeah,
the Blue Lagoon that Trixie Tricycle put into her conversion for that, because sometimes you need that one or two brights. Yeah.
So I hope everybody loves them as much as I do.
They're really good. They're really good. I'm excited.
Thanks.
I told Kerri that I wanted to start winding them today.
Yeah, so I wouldn't mind starting to use them right now too.
Yeah. So if you have signed up, thank you very much. Club 1 is right around the corner, and we're pretty excited to see where this leads. So
I can hardly wait till people get them in their hands and they start showing up in the wild.
It's gonna be really good. I think that was it.
I think so.
Yeah, we've got Winter Quakers conversion coming out next week.
Also gorgeous.
Yeah. So Kerri has also just delivered the floss for that, and I'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. So
okay.
Bye. See ya.
That was fun.
So now I feel like I've finally introduced you properly on this channel to my friend Kerri. I talk about her all the time. She is the dyer behind Leo&Roxy Floss Co. All the beautiful floss that I'm lucky enough to be able to sell is all dyed by her. So there you have it. Floss clubs. It's going to be really fun. So the subscriptions are live on the shop, and I think I've said everything I needed to say about them. If you've got any questions, feel free to email myself or Hannah at any time. My email address is caroline@evertote.ca, and Hannah is Hannah, Hannah, @evertote.ca. Okay, things coming up in the shop. I spoke about Ellen. Ellen has been working very hard on stitching a model for us here at Evertote for the Rosewood Manor Winter Quakers. We've done a Leo&Roxy Floss conversion with all new floss colors. Kerri and I chatted in depth on a palette. She came up with something from the get-go based on the chart, and I made a few suggestions about, what colors needed to be stitched next to each other within the chart and what would look better next to each other. A couple of the colors needed to be boosted in saturation, and it's like magic. I say, you know, I think that green could be a little bit deeper, a little bit more of like that tone, and she'd come back the next week and it would be like exactly what I see in my head. She's managed to make it in floss. It is literally like the best magic I've ever seen. She's phenomenal. So I am so excited because the model Ellen's almost done. She's run out of one of the colors of floss, and like I mentioned, she's about to go on tour. So she has popped that in the mail. It's heading its way back to me. So I hope to have her model in my hands by next week. I am going to complete the stitching on it. And at that point, when I have it in my hands, I'll tell you a little bit more about when we will have it available in the shop. But it will be within the next 2 weeks. And it will be using very similar fabric to the Isabella's Heart fabric, the blank slate fabric. But Kerri and I have discussed doing a version of blank slate that has a little bit more modeling on it. Not like crazy model, but just a little bit more of a vintage look to the fabric than the sort of more tonal linens that are going out for Isabella. So that should be available. I'm guessing we'll have it up for sale by the end of next week. I've got all the floss. The floss is all ready to go. I just don't have the linen yet, and I don't have the model to share with you because I want to show you up close all of the details and how the colors work together and how beautiful it is. So one of the reasons why it's been really fun to do these particular Rosewood Manor conversions is that Karen Kluba's original designs called for Valdani floss, and they're gorgeous. I mean, there's absolutely nothing wrong with the originals. They're beautiful. Clearly, they're a fan favorite. She does call for them to be stitched on a 28 count linen because Valdani floss is a 3-ply floss, and so you are supposed to pull the 3 plies off the ball and stitch with it as it comes off the ball. So being that Leo&Roxy cotton, overdyed cotton is a 6-strand, you can separate down to 1 or 2 strands of floss and stitch with that. So technically you could stitch the winter Quakers, you know, on a smaller count fabric and easily do it with 1 strand of floss if you wanted to do it on a 36 or a 40 count linen. I did speak with Ellen about that because I wanted her opinion on that. There are some specialty stitches in it. There's some eyelets, and the snowflakes use, when you're stitching with 2 strands on a 28 count, the snowflakes that are sprinkled throughout the design use 1 strand of floss. Luna's rolling around on the floor in front of me. So if you were to stitch it with 1 strand over 2 on a 40 count linen, your snowflakes might appear a little bit thicker than they do on a 28 count because of course you can't go less than 1 strand. So you would have the 1 strand for the snowflakes as well as the design. So something to keep in mind, but I do still think, I think it would be beautiful. So more information. I still need to do the final numbers on the quantities of floss needed for each, and I need to have Ellen's model in my hand. But I have a photo, a very special sneak peek photo that I shared on Instagram last night in my stories, and that Ellen sent to me of her work. And so she did take it at night, and it was under her stitching lamp. So it's not going to be, you know, it's not true to life, but it's pretty darn close, and it's really gorgeous. So I'm just I'm gonna pop that in at the end here because it's time for me to sign off. I don't think I have anything else that I have left to share with you today. I think I've said it all. So I'll pop her photo into the end of the video here. So again, huge thanks to all of my friends who have been helping me so much over the last couple of weeks with everything that's been going on. And a big thank you to you, to all of you, for continuing to watch, continuing to support the shop, to send me kind messages about, you know, everything. It's a really wonderful community that we've built here, and I'm very pleased and proud to be a member of it. So thank you. Thanks for letting me play. Thanks for letting me join in. I think that's it. I'm really looking forward to completing my Ruskin's penguins. The next time I share a video, it's going to be done, and I'm excited to share that with you. So that's it for me today. I hope that you're well. I hope that you're safe, and I hope that you have some stitching to bring you some joy as we head into the rest of this week. It is only Tuesday. We've got a lot of week left before we hit the weekend again. So make it a good one. And until the next time, take care and happy stitching.